Chapter 7 Control and Coordination. Control and coordination. The nervous system. In animals, nervous system and hormonal system plays an important role in control and coordination. In plants, control and coordination is done by chemical substances called plant hormones or phytohormones. Coordination in animals. In animals, control and coordination is done by the nervous system and endocrine system. Nervous system. The nervous system is an organ system containing a network of specialized cells called neurons. Types of nervous system. 1. Central nervous system (CNS), it includes brain and spinal cord. 2. Peripheral nervous system (PNS), it includes a. Somatic nervous system (SNS), it is also known as voluntary nervous system and associated with a voluntary control of body movements via skeletal muscles. It includes cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Cranial nerves 12 pairs arises from brain. Spinal nerves 31 pairs arises from spinal cord. B. Autonomic nervous system (ANS), it is also known as involuntary nervous system in which sensory and motor neurons plays an important role. It is subdivided into I. Sympathetic nervous system for fight, flight, and 2. Parasympathetic nervous system for rest, digest. Neurons. Nerves, the structural and functional unit of nervous system called as neurons. Structure of neurons. It has a cell body called cytosol containing a nucleus and cytoplasm. It has several branched structures called dendrites. It has a long nerve fiber called axon which may covered by Schwann cells and a protective covering called myelin sheath. Schwann cells separated by a gap called as nodes of Ranvier. Neuron ends by bulb-like structure at nerve ending called as synaptic knob. Synaptic knob consists of several vesicles called as synaptic vesicles, which contain the chemical for pass on the information, called as neurotransmitters. X. Acetylcholine. Synapse. The junction between two neurons or with muscles is called synapse. Nerve impulse messages pass through the nerve cell in the form of chemical and electrical signals called nerve impulse. The dendrites receive the information and starts a chemical reaction which produce electrical impulse which passes through the axon. Reflex action. Reflex action is a sudden, unconscious and involuntary response of the effectors to a stimulus. X. We suddenly withdraw our hand if we suddenly touch a hot object. In this reflex action, the nerves in the skin receptor detects the heat and passes the message through the sensory nerves to the spinal cord. Then the information passes through the motor nerves to the muscles, effector, of the hand and we withdraw our hand. Reflex arc. The pathway of a reflex action is called reflex arc. In a reflex arc the stimulus is received by the receptors, sense organs, and it passes through the sensory nerves to the spinal cord. From the spinal cord the information passes through the motor nerves to the effectors, muscles/glands, for the response. Reflex action. Walking. The brain plays no action as the reflex action takes place at the level of spinal cord. But later brain is informed by the spinal cord and then later the thinking part of the action is done by brain. But brain is not active during a reflex action. Difference between reflex action and walking. Reflex action. 1. It is inborn, involuntary, automatic, and require for survival and protection. Walking. 1. It is acquired by learning, under control of brain, voluntary and for various function. Human brain. The brain is the main coordinating center in the human body. It is protected by the cranium. It is covered by three membranes called meninges filled with a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid which protects the brain from shocks. The brain has three main parts. They are forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain consists of the cerebrum and thalamus. It is the thinking part of the brain and controls voluntary actions. It controls touch, smell, hearing, taste, sight, mental activities like thinking, learning, memory, emotions etc. 2. Midbrain controls involuntary actions and reflex movements of head, neck, eyes etc. 3. Hindbrain consists of cerebellum, pons and medulla. Cerebellum controls body movements, balance and posture. Pons controls respiration. Medulla controls heartbeat, blood pressure, swallowing, coughing, sneezing, vomiting etc. Spinal cord. The spinal cord starts from the brain and extends through the vertebral column. It has 31 pairs of spinal nerves. It carries messages to and from the brain. It also controls reflex actions. 3. Cardiac muscles present in heart. Muscles are three types. 1. Skeletal muscles, voluntary muscles/striated muscles, attached with bones and having alternate dark and light bands. 2. Smooth muscles, involuntary muscles, non-striated muscles, present in internal body organs. 3. Cardiac muscles present in heart. Nerve impulse reaches to muscle which resulted into muscular action. Coordination in plants. In plants, control and coordination is done by chemical substances called plant hormones or phytohormones. There are 5 main types of plant hormones. They are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid and ethylene. Auxins help in cell division, cell elongation and growth. 2. Gibberellins help in growth of stem and branches, seed germination etc. 3. Cytokinins help in cell division, formation of fruits and seeds. 4. Abscisic acid inhibits growth and affects wilting of leaves. Ethylene helps in flowering and ripening of fruits. 6. Movements in plants. Movements in plants are of 2 main types. They are tropic movements and nastic movements. Tropic movements are directional movements towards or away from the stimulus and it depends on growth. They are of different types like phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism etc. Phototropism is movement of plants in response to light. If it is towards light, it is called positive phototropism, e.g., bending of shoot towards light. If it is away from light, it is called negative phototropism, e.g., bending of root away from light. 2. Geotropism is the movement of plants in response to gravity. If it is towards gravity, it is called positive geotropism, e.g., downward growth of roots. If it is away from gravity, it is called negative geotropism, e.g., upward growth of shoot. 3. Chemotropism is movement of plant in response to chemical stimuli, e.g., growth of pollen tube towards the ovule. 4. Hydrotropism is the movement of plants in response to water, e.g., growth of roots towards water. Phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism. Nastic movements are non-directional movements which are neither towards or away from the stimulus, and it does not depend on growth. E.g., if we touch the leaves of touch-me-not plant, its leaves fold up and droops down immediately due to the change in the amount of water in the leaves. Depending upon the amount of water in the leaves, it swells or shrinks. Endocrine glands in human beings. Endocrine glands in human beings. The endocrine glands are also known as ductless gland. The endocrine glands produce chemical substances called as hormones, and it directly diffuses into blood and reaches to target organ. The endocrine glands in our body are pineal, hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, pancreas, adrenal, testes and ovary. Hypothalamus gland. It forms various releasing or inhibiting hormones and regulate the pituitary glands for further function. For X, GHRH/E, TRH, GnRH/E, CRH, OT, ADH etc. Pituitary gland. It function in response of hypothalamus and releases hormones. For X, GH growth hormones, it help for body growth. Deficiency of GH causes dwarfism and its excess secretion cause gigantism. TSH thyroid stimulating hormone stimulate thyroid gland to form the thyroxine hormone. Gonadotropin hormones FSH and LH/ICSH, FSH follicle stimulating hormone, LH luteinizing hormone/ICSH. Interstitial cell stimulating hormone stimulates gonads like ovary/testis. FSH. It stimulates testes/ovary to form sperms/ova as well as stimulate these gonads to secrete the sex hormones, testosterone in male, estrogen in female. LH, in female/I.C.S.H. Interstitial cells stimulating hormone in male. ICSH help to stimulates the testes to form the testosterone hormones, and LH stimulates corpus luteum to secrete progesterone hormone, which plays important role in ovulation. Prolactin, LTH luteotropic hormone, it is required for the development of mammary glands. ACTH adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulates adrenal gland, adrenal cortex. It forms hormones like glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, androgens. Oxytocin. It is also known as birth hormone and milk ejection hormone. Vasopressin, ADH antidiuretic hormone, help in reabsorption of water. Its deficiency cause diabetes insipidus. Thyroid glands. A pair of glands present in neck region, which forms thyroxine hormone in response of TSH of pituitary. Thyroxine hormone. Thyroxine controls the metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins and helps in proper growth. If the diet is deficient in iodine, it causes deficiency of thyroxine, leads to cause the goiter, in which enlargement of thyroid glands cause the swelling of neck. The goiter disease are generally found in people living in northern sub-Himalayan areas where the diet are deficient of iodine. Hence one must take the iodized salt. Excess secretion of thyroxine cause exophthalmia, protrusion of eyes. Parathyroid glands. Two pair of parathyroid glands which are close to thyroid gland. It secretes the parathormone which require to control the calcium and phosphorus. It deficiency cause cramps and spasms. Thymus gland. It is present near the heart and secretes the hormone thymosin. It is required for maturation of T lymphocytes which require for immunity. Adrenal glands. A pair of glands present over the kidney, adrenal gland having two parts: outer adrenal cortex and inner medulla. Adrenal cortex, stimulated by ACTH and forms three hormones, namely, glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, androgens. It requires for glucose metabolism, mineral balance, secondary sexual characters respectively. Adrenal medulla. It produces two hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Adrenaline hormone, it is also known as emergency hormone or hormone of 3F, fight, flight, freight. It increase of heartbeats, blood pressure, rate of breathing, causes rapid contraction of rib muscles etc. to fulfill the increasing demand of body. Noradrenaline hormone it require for normal functioning of heartbeat, blood pressure, breathing rate etc. Pancreas. It is heterocrine gland, exocrine and endocrine gland, the endocrine part of pancreas known as islets of Langerhans. It has two types of cells, beta cells and alpha cells, which forms hormones insulin and glucagon respectively. Insulin beta cell secretes the insulin hormone which controls the blood sugar. The excessive blood sugar converted into glycogen and stored into liver. The deficiency of insulin hormone causes the disease, diabetes mellitus. Glucagon alpha cells secretes the glucagon hormone which convert glycogen into glucose during starvation. Testes in male. A pair of testes present which act as heterocrine glands. It's stimulated by FSH and ICSH of pituitary gland. In response ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormone, stimulates the Leydig cells/interstitial cells, which result to produce the testosterone. It is required for development of secondary sexual characters, masculine characters. It also plays an important role in spermatogenesis. Ovary, in female a pair of ovaries present. In response of FSH the maturation of ova takes place. These maturing ova forms the hormone estrogen. It is required for development of secondary sexual characters. LH hormones of pituitary gland stimulates corpus luteum, which form the hormone progesterone. Progesterone hormone help to maintain the pregnancy, hence it is also known as pregnancy hormone.